Inhaling the fresh air, emptying her lungs of the scent of chip fat, Maggie waited for a steady stream of tourist traffic to trundle along the narrow road which ran directly in front of the shop. Glancing towards the village to the right, and then to the harbour before her, she was about to stride towards home, when she hesitated. The lad she'd served 10 minutes ago was perched on the lowest end of the harbour wall, staring at his phone. His package of fish and chips sat untouched beside him. Maggie almost went to see if he was all right, but stopped herself. Oh, I'm just missing Izzy. If she was here, she'd tell me that the last thing he'd want is me interfering. Turning in the opposite direction, Maggie strode into the heart of Mousel, ruffling her hands through her hair as she went, in an attempt to dislodge some of the chip shop's greasy scent from her unruly chestnut curls. She had arranged a phone call with Izzy for an hour's time, and that was something she didn't want to be late for. Ryan's stomach growled, but not even the delicious aroma of fish and chips coming from the wrap of food beside him tempted his appetite. He wasn't sure if he'd bought something to eat out of habit, or simply for something to do. Temporarily oblivious to the beauty of the seaside village behind him, or the lapping of the sea before him, Ryan sat on the edge of the grey harbour wall, his legs hanging down, his phone held out before him. The row of tethered fishing boats, the beauty of the clear blue sky, and the calls of the seagulls that gathered, each waiting expectantly for their chance to strike once his dinner was opened, was lost on him. He only had eyes for the message on the screen before him. "I'm in Portugal, was very last minute, exploring the whole country with friends, only 3 months. Let's put things on hold. I'll see you when I get back. B. Kiss." She couldn't even be bothered to phone to tell me in person. A mix of anger, hurt, and humiliation churned in his stomach as an unwanted tear came to his eye. Wiping it away, Ryan peered around him, making sure no one had seen his brief burst of emotion. I get why Bea would want to explore the country. After all, her mother is Portuguese. But why didn't she call before she left? There's nothing only about disappearing for 3 months. Shaking his head, he lowered the phone and absent-mindedly unfolded the paper from his late lunch, his slim fingers selecting and eating a chip without engaging his brain in the process. As he chewed, he considered his options. Should he stay in the area and wait for Bea to come home, or should he go straight back to Penzance and get a train home to Birmingham? Go back to Birmingham? For what? His family had cautioned him against going to Cornwall with Bea, convinced he'd never be happy there after being a city boy for the first 22 years of his life. Since leaving university the previous September, his friends had scattered to various places of work across the UK. There was no one left at home to spend time with beyond the walls of his parents' small terrace, and, if he was brutally honest, he knew they didn't really want him there. Try as he might, and he had tried, he'd yet to find a job, his second-class sociology degree not quite hitting the mark with any of the employers he'd approached. It doesn't help that I don't know what I want to do. Ryan looked along the wall, just in time to see a young seagull hopping hopefully in his direction. He shooed it away. If I was more like Bea, it'd be all right. She can just zip off, pleasing herself, knowing that her first-class degree has already secured her a job with a legal firm in Penzance. Plus, she has a home in Mousel already lined up for her, thanks to her family's property rental business. The seagull appeared as unimpressed by this information as his own parents had been. Ryan could hear his father's gruff voice now. "No pride in something you haven't worked for, son." He squirmed at the thought of having to tell them that Bea was travelling across Portugal for the next 3 months, without him, and that their life together was on hold. On hold. Not over. Ryan looked the seagull in the beak. That's what the text said. So, that means she's coming back to me, right? The gull gave an encouraging squawk as Ryan reached for another chip. The lady in the chippy had been right. They really were very good chips. Chapter 2. "Hello, sweetheart." "Hey, Mum," Izzy's voice sang down the phone. "How come you're always so lively when it's the middle of the night for you?" Maggie.
To keep listening to this audiobook, I've left you a link in the description so you can do it, at no cost thanks to Audible's 30-day free trial.